Okay, so let's just dive right into this. We're going to explore how we can completely reframe our relationship with being by ourselves, transforming it from something we're scared of into something we actually cherish. And this is all based on the fantastic work of Renuka Gavrani. Wow. Okay, right off the bat, this quote from a former US Surgeon General really hits hard, doesn't it? It puts loneliness on the exact same level as a serious, life-threatening habit. So this isn't just about feeling sad, it's a genuine health crisis that we really need to take seriously.
So how did we get here? Why is being alone seen as this awful taboo, this cage that we feel so trapped in?
I mean, think about it for a second. From a really young age, the books we read, the movies we watch, they so often show the person who's alone as, pathetic or unwanted or weak. And that narrative plants this deep-seated fear inside of us, of fear being judged, of being seen as that weirdo.
Now, this slide is absolutely crucial. The distinction it makes is so important. See, being alone is just a physical state. You are by yourself. That's it. But loneliness, that's the negative story you tell yourself about being alone. It's a mindset of misery and insecurity, not a fact of life.
And a huge part of this loneliness cage is built from this powerful, pervasive fantasy, one that we're sold pretty much everywhere we look.
This is the classic fairy tale trope, right? The idea that we're somehow incomplete and that someone else holds the key to our happiness. This creates this really dangerous false hope, and it makes us passive in our own lives, just waiting around to be rescued.
Yeah, this plotline, it's so familiar we barely even notice it anymore. But the message it sends is crystal clear. You are not enough on your own. It teaches us to just wait for some external hero, a rescuer, who, let's be honest, in real life may never actually show up. And this quote, wow, it just powerfully captures the emotional cost of that waiting game. Relying on an imaginary savior for our own sense of wholeness, well, it's just a recipe for some serious disappointment and heartbreak. So here's the crucial point. The escape route from the cage, it isn't out there somewhere. The key has been inside you this entire time. Okay, so forget everything marketers have told you. Real self-love isn't about bubble baths and fancy products. It boils down to this incredibly simple but powerful formula, radically getting to know every single part of yourself and then radically accepting all of it. This is such a great insight. We often admire villains because they embrace their complexities. And we all have flaws. We all have a dark side. The author admits she can be selfish sometimes. The point isn't to pretend these parts of us don't exist, but to accept them, because hiding them only gives them more power. Okay, so here's the practical path to that self-knowledge. First, you gotta be brave enough to just sit quietly and listen to what your mind is actually saying. Then, you start to shed all those limiting labels that society and even you have put on yourself. And finally, you can clarify what you stand for by first defining what you stand against. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. When you start to actually know and accept yourself, being alone transforms from being a burden into an incredible, powerful tool. A superpower, really. This is a massive perspective shift. In our super-connected world, we see being alone as some kind of failure. But historically, the greatest thinkers and artists saw it as a state of privilege, a necessary luxury for deep focus, invention, and all kinds of creativity. I mean, just look at these examples. Georgia O'Keeffe, Nikola Tesla, Vincent van Gogh. These brilliant minds didn't just put up with being alone, they actively went out and sought solitude. They knew it was the key to unlocking their greatest potential and creating their masterpieces. Tesla's words just drive the point right home, don't they? It shows that direct link between having that uninterrupted time with your own thoughts and having those breakthrough, world-changing ideas.
So how do we actually do this? Well, it can be surprisingly simple. First, schedule some time to detox your brain every day. Just let it process everything you've taken in. And second, embrace boredom. Intentionally do nothing. It's in those quiet, unproductive moments that your mind truly gets to recharge and innovate.
And this brings us to the final, and maybe the most empowering realization of all, when it comes to what it truly means to be by yourself.
I just love this quote. It perfectly captures the two sides of this truth. Yeah, being solely responsible for yourself can feel intimidating for sure, but it is also the ultimate source of freedom. You are in control. You get to write your own script.
And this right here is the core takeaway. This is the whole ballgame. It's the most profound shift in perspective you can make. You're not experiencing a void or an absence of other people. You are in the presence of the most important person in your life, yourself. It's an opportunity, not a punishment.
So, as we wrap things up, the real question isn't about how to avoid being alone anymore. It's about what incredible parts of yourself, what new ideas, and what profound peace you're going to discover when you finally, truly, and bravely embrace it.